Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Daybreak. I'm your host, Nicholas Sadowski. We have a fantastic show today, two amazing guests, and a great game. So let's get started. This is episode three. We've actually been filming a little bit out of order here. I filmed an episode of a part of the finale a couple of days ago, and we filmed episode five yesterday. It's been an interesting couple of days here. We've been filming a lot. But this is episode three. This will be released on July 18th. Episode two releases this Sunday. Um, but for people watching, it would have already been next week. And yeah, we're currently in the middle of a hurricane. It's technically a tropical storm right now in terms of its intensity, but we're in the middle of Hurricane Elsa. So hopefully no power goes out. But if power goes out and we lose Wi-Fi, I have backup systems here. I've got like mobile hotspots and stuff, so we can try and get this back up and running if there is a power shortage. So we're sort of bearing with everything that's happening here. So hopefully nothing goes wrong. I don't think anything should. It's pretty light right now. But yeah, so we're gonna get started. So my first guest here today is an amazing softball player for the Norwell varsity softball team. Really amazing at French. I've witnessed this firsthand. I'm not great at French, but she is amazing. And just a great person. So ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Maura Mcgraw to Daybreak.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you, Maura. I'm excited to have you. Um, and I mentioned the French thing because I took technically 5 full years of French, but I didn't really learn anything until last year. But I've watched you do French, and it's like amazing.
Oh my gosh,
Um,
thank you. Yeah, I took a year off actually, and I did not think I was gonna remember anything when I went back this year, but I did, so I was a little surprised. But I'm not doing French next year, and our madame was not that happy, but it's okay.
oh, really?
No, I couldn't fit it in my schedule, and I just like don't like I don't know. Like I want to learn it. It's just I don't like being graded on it. So like it was nothing against our class or Madame, but because I loved everyone in our class, but it was just like I don't know. I didn't really want to be graded on learning a language. I just kind of wanted to like learn it for myself, you know.
What part of it, what classes are you taking instead?
I think I'm doing two arts classes.
Oh,
I'm doing acting ensemble, and then they had this new musical theater class which I signed up for, but I'm not sure if anyone else did. So it probably will turn into a study, which
hmm.
is fine. I like that actually. So
So are you going to continue learning French just by yourself?
probably, yeah. When I have time. I don't know when that will be, but no, I definitely want to continue learning by myself or like do it in college or something.
Yeah. Would you ever like want to go to France and use all this knowledge?
Oh, totally, 100%. Or like Canada. I would love to go to Europe or anywhere like that.
I went to Montreal before COVID. I don't know, like maybe a year or two before COVID. And like Montreal is like half French, half English. Like you can get by speaking English, but like
Yeah, yeah.
almost everything is like they've got the signs where it's like English main, and then they got the subtext which is in French. But if you go to Quebec, it's just all French.
It's all that's
Um,
oh my gosh. No, that would be so cool.
yeah. And what's the capital? Ottawa City or something like that? I can't remember. Ottawa.
I have no clue. I've never
I'm
been
trying to remember, but I don't
to.
know. But they also speak French there, so yeah, you can definitely see some really cool places nearby and stuff.
Oh
Just
yeah.
over the border. But yeah, so getting to softball, you play softball for the varsity team. We've talked about softball with two people before, Bianca Anderson and Malia Welch, and Malia Welch is like crosses between the two. So we've gone from like a purely junior varsity to JV and varsity now to you just varsity. So as someone who purely plays varsity, knows all the players, knows what it's like, what has the experience been with varsity?
I actually liked it a lot. I wasn't really expecting that much my freshman year, and I was on the team my freshman year I was on varsity my freshman year, and we had a pretty good season, and we had like a really good team that year, and we lost 2-0 in our first states game, and it was
Oh no.
we would have won the game. Everyone is still really mad about this. Like my coach still talks about it, and so basically I was on third base, and Chloe Homan, who graduated a few years ago, she hit, like, the field didn't have a fence, and so if the field would have had a fence, then it would be a completely different story. But so she hit like this super long fly ball, and I tagged up, which means you go back to third and then you run home. And I didn't leave early, and then the umpire called me out because he said I left early, but he wasn't even watching. And we have a video of me not leaving early, like I left on time. And so we literally, if the field had a fence and if they hadn't made that call, we would have won the game.
Oh no.
It's like so annoying. And yeah, I know, but I mean, I love my team this year too, but I love both my teams. But freshman year was really good for me. And I ended up making the league all-stars, and I was also in the Patriot Ledger All Scholastics.
Oh wow.
Softball my freshman year. And then this year we lost 9 of our seniors who would have been on our team last year, and we lost like all of them. So I wasn't sure how it was going to be going into this year, but luckily we had a lot of really good freshmen, and so they kind of stepped up, which was awesome.
So where did you finish in the end?
We lost our first states game, and then we lost in the semifinals for the South Shore League tournament.
Well, I watched one. I watched the junior varsity games when I can, but I was early, and so I watched one of the varsity games, and just the intensity of like the players is like it's shocking, because like I'm watching, because like I don't understand even in junior varsity how you can throw a ball like with that little control, but like the amount of like seriousness that the players take this game was like intense. And it was like, I think my favorite part of that game, I was there for a game where there's a player who like ran to second then ran back to first, and there was some issues, and Willis runs to the and just arguing with the ump and the other coach.
Oh yeah.
10 minutes. I had him as an AP Euro teacher. I've never seen his like when he's angry, and that was ridiculously entertaining.
Oh yeah, no, he gets very fired up during our games. Yeah, it's kind of like a normal thing. We're all like used to it.
So what was different this year as opposed to like last year?
Oh, okay. So, I mean, we first had to wear masks because of COVID and everything. So we'd have to play with masks on, which I honestly didn't really make a difference like at all. But,
oh, really? I would have thought that'd been a problem.
I mean, if you were running a lot, then it was kind of annoying because you'd be like inhaling your mask. And like in the outfield, we're like, we don't understand why we have to wear them because we were 20 feet away from literally everyone else on the field.
Mm-hmm.
But then they lifted, like Governor Baker lifted that, thank goodness. So we all could breathe again, which was good. And I mean, like I understood because it was like safety reasons.
Right.
And stuff. Like obviously that was why we had to wear them. And I don't know, just kind of the people were obviously different because we lost a ton of our starters last year because they all graduated.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't get a season with them. And so the environment was definitely a little different because our team was a lot younger and we only had 2 seniors. And so our team was definitely more on the younger side than like on the older side.
Okay.
And like, yeah, but that was kind of it. I thought it was very similar.
Mm-hmm. What are your practice? So I've seen a bit of I have knowledge in junior varsity, but not varsity. So like junior varsity, they do a lot of practice with just throwing. What does a varsity practice look like?
Okay, so usually we run a little bit and then we stretch, and then we'll like warm up our arms and throw and stuff like that. And we'll usually do like long toss, which you basically stand really far away from people and try to throw the ball to them. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of depends on the day. But usually we'll do some fielding, and Willis will just hit balls to us because he literally can hit them so far. Like he can hit them out of the multi-purpose field. Like on the other side, can hit them over that.
What?
Like this is a special type of ball, so I don't really know if he could do it with a real one, but like yeah, so it's crazy. And then he'll usually go from like I was the center fielder this year, and so he'll usually hit balls to the outfield, and then we'll like throw them into like our cuts or like cutoffs, which means the infielder will run out and take the throws, or you can throw it right to the base. And then after he'll usually hit to the infielders, and then we'll do either we'll do some drills depending on what we struggled on the game before that, or we will like do some hitting stations. Like we'll hit off the tee, and then we'll hit like not live. We'll do front toss, which means he just sits on a bucket in front of you with a net in front of him and throws you the ball, and then you hit it. And then we'll do some bunting, and then I think that's kind of it. Honestly, that's pretty much all we do.
I can never just get used to bunting. It's I talked about this with Malia. When I did baseball in middle school, and they taught us how to do it, and I was just always afraid it's gonna crush my fingers. It's like I didn't understand how you could get that accurate and not like crush your fingers.
Oh, yeah. So you have to hold the bat a certain way so you don't do that, because I have done that before and it hurts. And
Really?
yeah, and luckily it was like a few years ago, so the pitching was not that fast then, so it was fine.
Okay.
But you pretty much, I don't have a bat with me. I wish I brought a bat. But you hold the bat like on the handle, and then you'll put your two fingers like this, so then it doesn't get smashed by the ball. And then you want to get it with like the barrel of your bat. But you want to deaden the ball because you don't want to hit it like right to an infielder, because then they have a higher chance of getting you out.
Right, yeah. When you're just, I'm wondering from perspective, when you're at home plate, I'm trying to remember the terminology, at home plate, and you're looking at the pitcher and she's throwing you the ball, what is like the first thought that goes through your mind?
Oh, okay, that's such a good question, because I sometimes like I struggle with like my mental part of the game. That was like my biggest issue this year, because I went like I think 0 for 5 or something in like 2 or 3 games, which was not good.
Oh.
And I was the leadoff hitter, so I thought I was like it was not pretty. So it was okay, because I got out of it eventually. But I had to come up with like different mental approaches, so I would actually like hit the ball, because mine wasn't like a like mechanics issue. It was literally just a mental issue, and I wouldn't be focused, or I like wouldn't be ready, or I would be like nervous, which if you're nervous, you have like a lot like lower chance of like actually hitting the ball, because then your brain will be going to all these other different places.
Right.
And so what I figured out is you kind of just have to like make sure you're relaxed, and you have to think you are the best. That helps me the most. But like you have to believe you're the best, or else like you're gonna struggle, because like I struggled with confidence a lot at the plate, and it has gotten a lot better actually. But I usually, depending on what I did in the game, I'm like, I can't let this pitcher beat me. I have to just be relaxed, and I have to hit the ball to right field, because I would have a timing issue, because my brain would be going so fast that everything would just be way too, like ahead of the ball. So I have to think I'm gonna hit the ball to right field, so I'm like on the ball. If that makes any sense.
And that works?
Oh, totally, 100%. Yeah, it definitely works for me.
I should think of myself more highly then to get me amped up for these. Interesting.
I know, it's like an interesting mental approach. I had to work on that one a lot, because I wasn't sure like what to do. And so I would talk to my dad about it a lot, and he would kind of help me through that.
Ego can be used for good.
Yeah, no. See, I like don't have an ego, but like when you're batting, you have to believe that you're gonna like crush the ball, or else it's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
That it's like, yeah, because I would get like beaten mentally, or I would beat myself. There's like a difference.
But people often think too lowly of themselves, and I was talking with.
Yeah.
I do an ensemble thing at a music school called Boston School of Music, which is also where my studio is. And the people in my ensemble, our singer, who's amazing, was thinking of this song. He's like, I can never do this song. I would completely botch the song. And like the artist is always the harshest critic. And one of the other people in the ensemble was like, I often think too lowly of myself, but when other people think too lowly of themselves, it annoys me. Which is, I feel like that's generally what it is. Like,
yeah.
I don't mind thinking too badly of myself when other people think badly of themselves. I have to like get in there to say you're fine.
Right.
And on that note of like being sort of like there to help other people. I've watched the camaraderie ship of the JV team. What's the camaraderie ship of the varsity team? Like how supportive of is the varsity team with everyone else, even if someone makes a mistake?
Yeah, usually everyone else is actually pretty supportive. I mean, we definitely had a couple of issues at the beginning of the season, but like after that, we just pulled through, thank goodness, and everyone started to like get along. And yeah, we all would like pick each other up if we made a mistake, and we'd be like, no worries, just get them back the next time, which you kind of have to do, because if you keep thinking about a mistake you made, you're probably going to make another one because you're not going to be focused.
Right.
Like you just have to move on from it and like tell yourself you're going to get the next one.
When you're playing and like you have a bunch of runs go for the other team and you lose points, or not lose points, but you don't, they get more
Yeah.
points. It's like -1. What is there like a certain mindset that the team has adopted to dealing with that so that they don't get like sad or like, there's a certain point I've noticed with the JV teams where it's like if there's a bunch of runs and they don't get those runs and the other team scores like 5 runs, they'll get like sad and then they'll perform less because they think they're going to lose. Is there a way that your varsity team combats that mindset?
Well, usually Willis will probably come over and talk to us. I mean, we'll probably get yelled at, but like, I don't know. I feel like if we lost a lot of runs, we would get a couple back, but I feel like we definitely struggled with that part. So everyone would get down mentally and no one would really be able to get back up from that. We definitely were working on it. It definitely improved a lot towards the end of the season, which was good, but I feel like we still probably have to work on that a little bit. But honestly, we probably would just tell ourselves we're gonna get them back and kind of go out there and try to do it at least. That's definitely one of the parts where we definitely need to still be working on.
Yeah. But to end this interview, which has been amazing, I have one last question. Well, actually, it's 2 parts of a question. Are you doing softball next year?
Yes, I am. I'm actually playing over the summer. I play for an 18U club team called Bay State Thunder, and we're a showcase team. And we were actually supposed to have a tournament game today, but it got canceled because of Hurricane Elsa. But it's fine.
Yes.
I think they just rescheduled it for tomorrow, so I'm going to be in Taunton tomorrow playing for that. And I am definitely playing next year. Yeah. I don't know. We haven't
So
captains yet, so that'll be interesting.
right. But is there anything that you are specifically looking forward to next year with softball?
Well, it's gonna be my last high school season, and it's gonna be like the last high school sport I like ever play. So
Right, because you're going as a senior now.
yeah, I'm gonna be a senior. So I'm kind of just looking to see everyone again and like play with them again because I love playing with them all. And hopefully, I don't know. I think we'll do a lot better like next year. I mean, this year we had like a good record. I think we were 7-6. So it's like in the middle. So I'm really hoping like it'll get better. And I think everyone will just get better as we go. Cause it was like, we had a lot of freshmen and a lot of people who just were playing varsity for like the first time. And like, they all did amazing. So I'm sure they're going to do amazing next year. But, like, I'm very excited to get back to it. So.
Well, I wish you luck, and any games that I can go to, I'll try and get to cheer you on. I'm very intense when it comes to like in-person games. So just.
Oh my gosh. All right. I'll be ready for that.
But Maura, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Of course. Yeah, so yeah.
All right. Bye. Thank you.
Of course, thank you. All right, so that was my interview with Maura Mcgraw. She plays softball, and if you're from Norwell, please go support her and her team, the varsity team at Norwell. Amazing team. Coach Willis is a fantastic coach. If you're from Norwell, you know who that is. Go stop by his room. He's just a fun person overall. But moving on to our second guest here today, I know her pretty well, and she does chorus, and she's just a super nice person. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to Daybreak, Charlize.
Hi.
Hi, Charlize.
Hi.
How have you been?
Pretty good. So like with me, I just got my driver's license. Like,
Fun.
I know. It was pretty nerve-wracking, like especially because like everyone was failing before me, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm so nervous. I felt so bad. Like they came out of the car looking all sad, and I was like, oh no. But then I passed, and I was like, oh.
Nice. Have you, so like in my mind, the second I get my driver's license, I want to go places. I want to go back to my old town and drive around and relive some memories. Is there any place that you want to go to now that you have your license?
I'm just excited to like be able to not have to like ask for rides whenever I want to go somewhere. Like if I want to go get like Chick-fil-A, I can just go. And if I want to go to somebody's house, I can just be like, okay, bye.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a certain level of freedom, and
Yeah.
actually that's one thing I'm looking forward to, because then I don't have to ask all the
Mm-hmm.
time, which means I can do more things.
Yeah.
Because often that's the problem, like, oh, I can't drive you here and
Mm-hmm.
there. But so regarding your singing, were you, yes, you're a member of the choir at
Mm-hmm. I
Norwell.
was here, but it didn't fit in or like 2 years ago. My freshman year I did it, and then last year it didn't fit in my schedule, so I didn't end up doing it last year. But I did it all throughout middle school too.
Are you gonna try and get into it next year, or have you gotten to?
Maybe I have to like see if it fits in my schedule. Like I have a lot. I want to take art, and then also I'm doing acting ensemble with Maura. So I'm not sure if it's gonna fit because like those are like full year, or yeah, both full year classes. So no, but I'm not taking French, so I might have room for it.
Okay. I remember freshman year French.
Mm-hmm.
That was a year.
Yeah, so fun.
We'll leave it at that.
Um,
So acting, I didn't know that you were interested in that. Have you acted in any plays like in middle school?
Yeah, I did the ones with Miss Patrell. You weren't in middle school with us though, so you probably don't know who that is. But she was she was the gym teacher, and then she also did the plays. She directed them. So yeah, I did those all 3 years, and then I've also done like plays like my whole life. Like ever since I was like, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5, my mom would just sign me up for like the little plays with all the little kids. It was so cute looking back at me because we were all like terrible at singing. And it was just funny to watch.
Are you going to, what about plays in high school? What about that is something that like you would like to do? That's really poor phrasing, but
Like, wait, so the question was like, what do I like about it?
yeah, that's the best.
Okay.
I was trying to think of a different way to say it.
Yeah.
Work it out.
So I really, well, first of all, I like doing it because Mr. Lacey's super nice, and and I also like the people that do it. Like it's really fun to work with other people when we're like doing like group things. Like it's fun. Like he'll tell you like you can pick your partners, and then we'll like all do a little skit. And so like they didn't have it last year because of the I don't know. I think it was because of COVID. I'm not sure. They just didn't have it last year. But freshman year I did it, and like it was really fun. It was me, Maggie, and then the Lacey twins, and we were usually always in the same group. And it was just really fun because like we're all like good friends in that class. So then like it was just fun.
Well, this past year there wasn't a play, but there was a movie.
Yeah.
I was actually in the movie. It was an interesting experience, and Maura was as well, I believe. I've had, I think, 3 or 4 people who've done acting come on, and they all have sort of similar answers with this. But with that type of work, what is something that you've had to? I'm really bad at phrasing. Something that it's poor for a host of a talk show. I need to work on phrasing. What has been something that you had to work on, like to overcome as an actor?
Definitely like just like the way that I like act basically. like I definitely need to work on like making it seem realistic, because like throughout, like when I like have done acting my whole life, I usually did like Disney like plays and stuff, because I was like younger, so I was like, oh, that looks fun, I want to be a Disney character. But like that's definitely like very different than like actual acting. Like usually the acting we did in the acting ensemble was more like realistic acting with like something you would see in a movie. And like I definitely need to work on like that type of acting, because I'm better at like being a made up like character, because that's like the type of acting I've done. So like I definitely need to work on like making it seem more realistic and not like I'm just memorizing lines.
Right, yeah. One of the problems that I ran into is that I talk fast generally. I've worked on slowing that down, but for the movie, for the first like 4 or 5 weeks of rehearsal, he just kept yelling, not yelling at me, telling me to like slow down in my
Yeah.
speech. Because like I'll talk like this, I can talk fast without tripping up, and I can talk, but it's too fast for people to understand.
Yeah.
Have you is that something that you've had to deal with? Because I talked with Malia, not Malia, the Lacey twins and other people, and they had the same thing.
I definitely talk fast as a person, so like it's definitely easier for people to like get lost in what I'm saying when I'm acting, because I tend to like try and just like get my lines out so that it's just like over with.
Right.
But like then nobody understands what I'm saying, and then it's just not good. So yeah, I definitely slow down.
Right, yeah. Is stage fright something that you've had to work on?
Definitely like beforehand, but like when I'm on stage, I just like, it's very easy to like make it seem like nobody's in the audience, because the lights are very bright. And so like as long as I don't look at the front row, that's the only people I can see. Like I can't see anything from like the front row up. So like I just like look straight out and I can't see anything. So I just think it's an empty audience. I just say to myself, nobody's here.
Oh, interesting. I brought this up with Latham as well. I asked them, do you mind the bright lights not seeing anyone? So you prefer the fact that you can't see anyone in the audience. Okay.
Because I feel like if like there was like, if the lights didn't blind me, then I would just see everyone going and like staring at me, and I'd be like,
With chorus in freshman year, we performed in the little theater, and there was like 200 people in that semicircle just sort of staring at you. Was that like a problem?
Not really, because like it was less scary because of the fact that like the whole chorus was there, so it wasn't just me standing there, and no, it wasn't just staring at only me. Like they were looking at all of us as a group, so it was definitely less scary. And like it was much smaller than if we went into the auditorium and did it, because like that would have been like a lot more people.
Yeah. Have you, in middle school, so the auditorium was also the cafeteria?
Yeah.
Were you ever like, and there's no like, were there bright lights there as well in middle school?
Yeah, but like it didn't, sadly it did, I could see people still. I could still see the audience. It wasn't as bright as like the auditorium lights.
Right, yeah. So having to start out with dealing with a big audience and now moving to something you really, unless again, if you look at the first row, you're not going to see an audience.
Yeah.
Is that something that you are definitely in favor of, or do you think that if you were to keep performing in front of an audience that you can see, do you think that you'd eventually get used to that and be able to just?
I mean, like I've been doing it for my whole life basically, so like I definitely do get nervous, but like it's not like so bad where like I'm gonna like mess up or anything. And if I mess up, then I'm like, okay, I messed up, keep going. Like I'm not gonna like cry about it. Like,
right.
Yeah.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen you perform any plays, but I'm sure when I eventually do next year and
Yeah.
forward, I'm sure it's going to be great. I'm very excited to see it.
Mhm.
And I want to move to our game before we run out of time because unfortunately Zoom has a time limit. But thank you so much for having the interview, and we're going to go to an interesting thing that I came up with. So would you rather is not something I came up with. It's would you rather. But I created this like addition to it, like your answer to would you rather, like would be like
Mhm.
if you had this, then what would you do with that thing?
Okay.
So I have 3 different would you rather questions and then 3 subsequent questions for if then. So the first one, would you rather own a super nice car or a super nice house?
Probably a super nice house. And then do I say why?
Um, sure, actually.
Okay. And it would probably be because like a nice car, like, oh wow. But like then I can like decorate my beautiful nice house. And then when people come to my house, they're like, oh wow.
Well, that was going to be my if then question. If you had a super nice house, what would you make it look like?
Yeah, I would definitely make it look like very clean and like very like I wouldn't want it to be like you walk in and you're like, I feel trapped because there's so much stuff in here. Like have you ever walked into somebody's house and you're like, why is there so much stuff?
Yes.
Like I definitely wouldn't want that because I want it to be like open and spacious so that you don't feel trapped in my house.
So would you like more of a modern house design?
Yeah,
Okay.
more of a modern house.
I like it like Italian Mediterranean architecture type.
Mhm. Yeah.
There's a house on Lincoln Street at the end near the main road, and it's this like grayish concrete wall design. It's called stucco, and I love that house so much. Um, but so it's the second one. Would you rather be able to get tickets to any Broadway show or anytime, or be able to get tickets to any movie anytime?
Hmm. Probably. I really like watching like Broadway shows and like plays and stuff, so I'd probably choose Broadway show anytime.
What show?
What show?
Of any, it could be any of any, like it could be even the past too. So it can be like Hamilton or something. But like, what show would you be like?
I went to see um the show Six. I don't know if you know that one, but I went to see it with Hadley Timmerman and then Caroline Scalzoli was there. And it was like much better than I expected. Like I walked in like knowing barely anything about it, and like I was like blown away. I was like, wow, I really like this.
Awesome. And thirdly, and lastly, would you rather be able to, as someone who's in plays and does music, would you rather be able and knows Aiden Kane, who writes his own music and does a bunch of other things. Would you rather be able to write music successfully or be able to write movies and or plays successfully? So basically, would you rather be Bruno Mars or Lin-Manuel Miranda?
I would definitely choose like being able to write my own music and like be successful in that because I would rather like be a singer or like a musician than be a movie director or a playwright just because that seems more interesting to me, I guess.
What would you say to something like Hamilton, where it's all music but tells a story?
Like that seems really fun to me. I just feel like um writing music is like I like to sing more than I like to act, but like having them both together is like different because it's more like I don't know, it's more like telling the story, so it's like still acting, but like I don't know, just like singing, acting,
I got you.
but like telling you can like tell a story with a song, but it's like different.
Right.
It's different kind of telling a story, I guess, because it's less like direct. because like when you're telling a story in a play, like it's really easy to be like, oh, I know what they're talking about. But if you're telling a story with a song, there's like room for interpretation, and that's what I like about it, because like one person could have a totally different interpretation of a song than somebody else.
Yes.
And
so if you were to write your own music, what style would you choose?
more like if like kind of like Adele, Lady Gaga, like that type of like laid back, like soft music, you know?
Would you stick with the mellow aspect of Adele, or would you just keep it laid back?
Like I would definitely like, so like I like when I write songs, I write like a mellow, and then like the chorus will be like a really loud like belting moment, I guess. Like that's the type of songs that I like to sing and write and stuff.
Do you know Abby Keith?
Yeah.
One of her songs, The Crown Jewels, is basically what you're talking about, where
Yeah, I heard it. We heard it in the car because so she goes to the same church as me, and so they like know her, and we were on our way to Boston, I think, for like, it was a like church youth group thing, I think. I don't really remember. And and they were like, Abby just came out with a new song, we should listen to it in the car. And I was like, she did? And so we were listening to it in the car, and they were like, that is so pretty. And I was like, that's so good, how did she write that?
Yeah, I actually just filmed an episode with her yesterday, and so I recommend that you would watch it when it comes out. But it's been, unfortunately, too short a time, and I would love to have more time, but honestly, Zoom will kick me off against my will. So I do have to let you go to end the episode.
Okay.
But thank you so much for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Okay, bye.
So that was my interview with Charlize. She is a fantastic singer, so if you were from Norwell, please go watch her concerts. And if not, then just support her and everything like that. But thank you everyone so much for watching Daybreak. It's been a pleasure to be hosting again. This is episode 3. Episode 4 is likely to be a studio episode. I'm going in Thursday to film the episodes, and it should definitely be interesting. So hopefully those all turn out really well. If that's not what happens, then Alex Versa will be next with the feature episode. I already filmed that yesterday. It was fantastic. I love Alex so much. But yeah, so thank you everyone so much for watching Daybreak, and until next time, goodbye.